Hello everyone, it's Professor Sadiq Noor, and today I am gonna demonstrate and show you how to complete one of the Excel project. Um, so using Excel. So the project name is SAM Project A Excel Module 1, creating a worksheet and a chart. So let's start. As you see that I'm already in the canvas under the modules, and then I will go to the last assignment that says SAM Project A Excel Module 01 creating a worksheet and a chart. So let's click on it to launch the assignment. Now be sure your pop-ups of your browser is on, and then click on load the SAM project. Is gonna load in a new tab. Now you will have to click on start, and then in the Cengage MindTap assignments, obviously the project, you will have these three boxes. The first box is to download the file. The second one is to save the work to SAM. And then once you click on the file, and then you will submit it for grading, right? So the first thing is we have to download the instruction file and the starting file, the Excel file. So I will click on download all. So both the file will be downloaded. As you see, both the file is being downloaded. Now, obviously, to complete this project, you don't need to be online, so you need to be offline. So you can close the browser, and then you kind of focus on completing the assignment. So the other thing that the files, the Excel file I'm using and the instruction, I will put it under the description, and then you can download, and then you can follow the step with me. And also be sure to subscribe to the channel, and also be sure to share the channel with your family and your friends. So now, once we download it, now I will minimize it because obviously I will need it again so to upload to show you the results. So I will minimize it. Now I will go to the File Explorer on my Windows 11 on the taskbar. Then I will go to the downloads, and then I should see the two files that I downloaded from the Cengage. MindTap is here now. One is Microsoft Word, the other one is Excel. So one is the instruction, one is the starting file. So first I will open the instruction because obviously we have to read the instruction to complete the assignment. And then enable it. And then I will zoom it so we can read, we can understand well. Here you go, perfect. Now I will go back to the File Explorer. Now I will open Excel, the file. Now once you downloaded the file, right, always the file will have one with it after your first and last name. So be sure that at the end I will show you that I will have to change the 1 to 2 because that's the requirement, right? And always you will see your name here as the author, right? Now we have to go back and read the instruction. I will make it closer. So the first thing that in the assignment, they said that when you downloaded your file, you will have one with it. And then when you're gonna upload the assignment for grading, be sure that you change to 2. But you have to leave everything as it is. But under this under the underscore, after the underscore, you have to just change the 1 to 2. Right? That's what the instruction they mention here under the get started, right? Now we will go down. So move down. So the project steps. Now, Sundar Thought is the Senior Director of the Connecticut Field Office for Inro Energy, an industrial company that manufactures energy producing equipment. He has created a worksheet to summarize the revenue and expenses for the first three quarters of the year. He asked he asked for your help in determining what the Connecticut office needs to do to meet its target profit goals in the fourth quarter, right? So the first thing is we have to go to the budget summary worksheet, and then we have to cut the worksheet title from L1 and paste it in cell A1. So let's start the first thing first. Go back to Excel. Be sure that now a little bit I will introduce you to Excel. Most of you, you know that. So obviously, this is in the top is your tabs, all right? I need to share with you tabs. And then below the tabs, this guy here, all the way to the end, they are the ribbon. The ribbon consists of groups, and the groups has names, right? Ribbons. So the ribbon consists of group like alignment group, font group, style group, number group, right? So within the group actually is the command. These are all the command as you see here. This is the command. This is the command. This is the command, right? And then this is here, the white area here. It's very important in Excel. Is your formula bar. Is your formula bar, okay? Anything on the cell, it has to be visible in the formula bar. Then here is the insert function in the left of the formula bar here. FX means insert formula. The check means to enter and X not to enter what you typed on the formula bar. The next box which is important here is the name box. The name box tells you actually in what cell you are currently, or if you want to go to any specific row and column, you can type the name of the column and the row, and quickly you will go to that specific area you want to go to. And then this is your tab where all your worksheet will be visible here. And then the plus here is to add another worksheet, right? So obviously, you will start with one worksheet and then you can keep on adding, depends on how big is your workbook, right? So Excel file is actually a workbook, right? It's a book, but obviously is a workbook. Excel file is a workbook, right? Now remember, the workbook is consists of what? Worksheet or sheets. So worksheets, right? Now the worksheet is the one that consists of columns and rows. Columns and rows. All right. Now, the other thing that you have in your workbook is the status bar here. So it says Excel is ready to go. The accessibility, we have to work on it. And then these are the view for Excel here in the status bar. Normal view, print view, print layout view, break view. So, and then this one here is the magnifier to zoom your worksheet, right? The more to the right will zoom it more, and then if you want to shrink it down, you have to move the bar to the left. You have the scroll bar to go up and down. You can go left and right, right? So with that, let's start the project. right? So we need to go to the tab, the worksheet tab, and then we have to click on the budget summary. Now, the first thing that they said that we need to do is that we have to go to the budget summary worksheet. We have to cart the title from the cell I1 and paste it in A1. So first we will select I1. See, I is the column and the row is 1. And you will notice that the row will, the letter of the column will be green and the row also will be green, right? So select I1 and then go to the Home tab and then go to the clipboard on the ribbon and then cut it with the scissor. You will see like a flashing light indicating that you selected the cell, and then go to A1, click on A1. As you see, the name box says A1 because that's where currently I am located. Now we have to hit the paste under the clipboard. Here you go. Perfect. Let's get back. Now let's go down to the first step. In cell E1, we need to add the text number of so that the complete text appears as number of sales people, right? And more clearly identify the value in G1. So to do that, I'm going to go back. E1 is here. And just you can, one way is you can double click it. Your cursor is going to blink inside the cell and then you can type. The other way, you can move your cursor to the cell E1, go to the formula bar, and just type what you want to add. So number of cell people, press the enter key. Perfect. All right. Next. So I will move down. We're done with step number 2. Step number 3. Enter the quarter 1 in cell B17 and quarter 3 in D17, right? So B1 in B17 we have to put quarter 1 and D17 we have to put quarter. So now you need to be sure where you are. So that's the B, column B, and row 17. And we're gonna type quarter 1, right? Now, because we need quarter 3 in the empty column in D17, right? You already have quarter 2. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the fill handle. So you see a small square box when I selected C17 because I want to copy what's in C17 to D17. So Excel knows if you start with 1, 2, 3, 4, Excel assume that the next guy will be quarter 3. As you see in the screen tip, it says quarter 3. So we're done with that. All right, we're done with the step number 3. Step number 4. In cell G8, G18, enter the formula in G18, right? So that subtracts the target revenue cell F18 from the year to date revenue in cell E18 to determine how much revenue the field office needs to earn in a quarter 4 to reach its target for the year. So to do that, we need to go and find where G18 is. That's here, right? It's here. Once you move your cursor and you selected the cell G18, now the formula is going to be always whenever you want to construct the formula, you have to start with equal. So equal what? What cells are involved in here? So equal the year to date, which is this one, minus the target for the revenue, right, in F18. Now press the enter key. Once the formula is constructed, once the formula is done, press the enter key. So perfect. We're done with that. Now let's go and read step number 5. Sundar wants to calculate the gross margin for quarter 1 all the way to 3 and the year to date. Provide this information as follows. So now in B20, we want to find the formula we have to put in cell B20, right? So we have to find where the cell B20 is. So then we have to enter the formula without a function. We are not supposed to use a functions. Functions are already made, built in. So we are not supposed to, we have to do manually using the keyboard. So that's the formula is that we have to divide the gross profit for quarter 1 in cell B19, right, by the revenue in quarter 1, which is in cell B18, right? B18. You get back to Excel. So this is the cell. Let me try to zoom it. So this is B20, right? So the formula, whenever you want to construct or you want to create the formula, you have to start with equal. Always, don't forget that. And then you can also type the cell name or you can point to the cell, right? To select the cell like this way. So we need B19, which is this one here. So click on it. You see the cell has been selected. Then divided by B18. So click on B18. So either you can type B19 or you can point to the cell to select for you. You don't need to type. All right. And now push the enter key, press the enter key. Perfect. Now you see we need to find the gross margin for quarter 2, 3, right? And then the year to date. So let's read. That will be the next to do. So once you created the formula for the B20, now fill the range C20 or the E20 with the formula in cell B20 and find the gross margin for quarter 2 and 3 for the year to date, right? So next is you will go here because the formula is already done. You already have found the quarter 1, right? So quarter 2, 3, and the year 2 will be easy to go. So you have to use the fill handle. So what is the fill handle? The small square in the bottom, you see? You don't want a thick plus, white plus. You want the tiny one. See the tiny plus one? So hold the left key of your mouse and drag it to the right. So we can copy the formula in B20 to C20, D20, and E20. Perfect, you see? Now let's get back to the instruction. I will move down. So we're done with A and B. Now, Sundar needs to add the cells for each energy product type to calculate the year-to-date sales. Provide this information as follows. So now we need to go to E5, right? E5. And we have to use the sum function. You see that here? Now this time they say we have to use what? The sum function. We don't have to construct the formula using the keyboard. So we have to use the sum function now. The sum function is to add up the columns and then to give you the results in a few seconds. And then the total, the three quarter of the gas generator cells, the range will be D5 all the way to B5 all the way to D5, right? And then we have to use the fill handle to fill the remaining cell with the formula that we constructed, the sum function, right? With the cell E5. Right? Once you have the formula in E5 and everything is done in E5, then you have to fill it down to the rest, right? So that we can find the year-to-date sales for the others three regions. So let's do that. So now we need to use the function sum. So let's get to E4, right? Once you are in E4, right? So sorry, E5, because that's what we want to find the year to date for the gas generators, right? Now to do that, I will go to the editing group under the home tab, and the ribbon is the group name is editing, and then you see the sigma sign or the summation sign. You will click here, and then the sum is here, right? One way is this. The other way is you can go to the formulas, the formula tab. You will see the function library, right? And then I can use the auto sum here is the same as the one I show you under the home tab, right? And then I can use also insert function for the sum, right? So either way you like. So I will go back to the home tab. I will go to the editing, and it's the same sign. I will click here, and then I will say sum. Once I selected the sum function, now it's selected the range B5 all the way to D5. If you think your range is perfect, is that what you want to sum, then press the enter key. It's done. Now go back to E5, hold the fill handle. You see the fill handle, the small tiny black plus. Hold the left key, and we need to copy to E6, E7, E8. Perfect. All right. So let's go back and let's read what's next. So we're done with number 6, A and B. Step number 7. In cell F5, we need to enter the value, the 600,000, to provide the target annual sales amount for the gas generators. So we will type this. Go to F5 and type 600. 6 zeros. All right. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So we have, let's count again. Is it 6 zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. All right. So be sure that you count the zeros. It has to be 6. Next, step number 8. Now, Sundar wants to determine how much revenue each energy product needs to generate in quarter 4 to reach its target for the year. Enter this information as follows. So what we want to do now, we have to go back to G5, right? So G5, they said don't use a function. So you need to enter a formula without a function, right? Very important. Formula without function, right? So we need to subtract the target cells. We need to subtract the target from the year to date in cell E5 to find the amount of gas generated the company need to sell to meet its target, right? Then we need to copy the formula in G5 all the way to G6, from G6 all the way to G9, so that we can find the variances of for the other energy products and for the total. All right. So let's do that. So let's go to G5. All right. We will start the formula with equal, and then the year to date, which is for the gas generator, is E5 minus the target, which is F5, and then press the enter key. Perfect. Now go back to G5, hold the fill handle, the small square, until you see a tiny plus sign. Hold the left key of your mouse and fill it down. Fill it to what they said, from G6 to G9. So G9 here. So we have to move a little one more. Perfect. All right. Now let's go back and read. We're done with A for step number 8. And then we also done with B. Now 9. Sundar is interested in how much revenue each of the 22 salesperson generates on the average in each quarter and for the year to date. Find the information as follows. So what we want to do now, we need to edit the cell B10 to include the formula without a function that divides the total, that divide what? The total divide, so divide the total energy cells in quarter 1, which is in cell B9, by the number of cell people in G1. So don't change the reference to the cell G1 that's already there. All right. We have to use the value which is in G1. Now to do that, so that's the G1, and then that's the B10, right? Now, one thing I will share with you. So actually, when you create a formula and then you copy the formula to the next cell, right? Cell is always relative to the cell. Excel always is relative to the cell. Now I will tell you something. First, let me do what we need to do. So equal something in B9, which is the total quarter, right? Divided by G1. All right. Now press the enter key. So perfect. Now we need to copy the formula so that we can find the revenue for salesperson for quarter 2, 3, and then the year 2. Now look what's gonna happen. The problem Excel will create. All right. So what that division by 0 means? Let me show you. So if you want to find out the formula involved in here, so double click the cell. That's the cell finder. Okay. See what happened here. C9 is perfect, divided by H1. Is there anything in H1? is an empty cell. So how come you are dividing by an empty cell? That's why Excel create a problem in here. Why? Because Excel assumes that there is something in uh, H2, H1 that you want to use. But obviously, I don't have anything in H1. What I want to use was G1, right? So now, to make the G1 absolute, we have to use something called absolute. We have to make the cell to be what? Absolute. Now remember, whenever you want to make the cell absolute, you have to press the Fn key. At the same time, you have to press F4, right? So it depends on your keyboard. If your keyboard doesn't have the Fn key, then just press the F4. If your laptop has an Fn key, then you need to hold the Fn and then press the F4 to make the cell absolute. Now, how you will know that the cell is absolute? You will notice a dollar sign or dollar amount before the column name and then dollar sign before the row, whatever the row is, right? So it's gonna be like this. So when you see something with a cell with a dollar amount with it, that means you make the cell to be what? Absolute. Absolute means it's not gonna change. If I copy the formula to the bottom to the right, it's not gonna go to the right to the bottom. It's gonna stick there because you make that cell to be what? Absolute. So now let's fix this. Let's create an absolute because this is wrong now. See, it took us to the empty cell. So escape, I will delete it. Now I will say equal, right? So sorry, I will go back to this one because that's the one I have to copy then. So delete from the keyboard. Start with equal. The total quarter for the first quarter, the total, which is B9, divided by the number of cell people, which is G1. So the moment you selected the G1, right, now is the time to press or hold the Fn and F4. As you notice that the G1 now has a dollar sign before the column G and a dollar sign before the row, right? Now press the enter key. Perfect. Always the first one will be right. The second is the one that's going to be a problematic. So let me copy now all the fill handle and move to the right, and right. Now, perfect. I don't have any divide by 0. Now let's see how you get the 193,136. Double click the cell. You see, although I used the C9 dividing by G1, but the G1 did not move to the right anymore. It stick with G1 as you see. So sometime you might need to create an absolute cell so that's not gonna move either up or down or to the right or in the bottom. So it's not gonna move to the empty cells anymore, right? Now, if you want to see how you get the 240,000, so double click it and then you see it doesn't move. It doesn't go to the right anymore. All right, so you make the G1 to be absolute. You make the H1 to be fixed because that's the value, the 22 value is that's what you want to divide by the quarter total, right? Now, the other thing is that when you do this, as you see that your cell will remain constant, is gonna be absolute, all right? So it's not gonna either when you copy the formula down, it's not gonna go down, it's not gonna go to the right. Now, guys, one thing more I want to share with you. When you double clicked it to see what the formula is involved here, right? This stuff is called range In Excel, we call this range finder because I want to find what is involved in here. So yeah, we call it range finder. All right. So this is my range finder. When you double click on the cell to figure out how I get this total here or what's involved here, I want to see the cells involved. So that's your range finder, right? Now, to get out of it, one more thing, to remove the rangefinder, you will have to press the escape key. The escape key is one of the key in your keyboard. The first key in the top left, right? So press the escape to get it back to what it was there. All right. So you need the escape key from your keyboard. All right. Click on it again and press the escape. Perfect. Now let's go back and read what else we need. So we're done with that. Now, the next one, so we already did, the next is B15. B15. So we have to go and see, did we work on B15? B15. Now we want to find out the operating margin, right? So let's see what we need to do. Sundar also needs to calculate the operating margin, which is the ratio of operating the profit or loss to revenue and indicate how much the office makes after paying for expenses. Calculate the operating margin as follows. So there is two steps we have to do under the 10 step, A and B. So we have to go to cell B15 and we have to enter the formula without a function that divides the operating profit or loss in the quarter one, which is B14, and then by the revenue from quarter one, which is B18. All right. And then once we create the formula, once the formula is done in B15, then we have to use the fill handle to fill the range C15 all the way to E15. All right. In B15, whatever that formula that you created, we have to copy it to C15 all the way to E15 to find the operating margin for quarter 2, 3, and for the year to date. All right. So let's do that. So I am already in B15. You will start the formula, as I said, equal. And then you will go to B14, which is the one above the cell B14, divided by B18. B18, which is the revenue for the profit and loss. So that's the one here. Perfect. Press the enter key. Now we're gonna fill it. So when you're gonna fill it now, because see, I have values here. If I don't have any value here, then I'll have to make this guy to be absolute, right? Because there is nothing in the right of that value. But now I have something there, so you don't need to create an absolute. Leave it as relative. So you hold the fill handle, and then quarter 2, 3, and then the year to date. So we created this. Perfect. Now let's go back to the instruction. Let's go to step number 11 now. Sundar wants to include the visualization of the total year-to-date sales separated by the region. Insert a chart to provide this visualization as follows. So now we need to create a chart. Create a donut chart based on the non-adjacent cells, which is we have to select A4 all the way to A8 and then E4 all the way to E8. All right. So first we have to select A4 all the way to A8. Now, because the other cell or other column is too far away, so we have to hold the control key and we have to select G, is it E? Sorry, E4 all the way to E8. Perfect. So these are the two columns. They are non-adjacent to each other. So the one is too far away from the other, right? Then you have to select the first one, then hold the control key, and then select E4 all the way to E8. So let's go back and read. A4 all the way to A8 and E4 all the way to, so perfect. And then we have to create the chart, the donut chart. So after you selected your column, now go to insert. You will see the group that says chart here. And then you will see the pie. Click on the small down black arrow and then look for the donut. Click on it. Perfect. Now go back to instruction and let's read step number 11B. Enter the year to date cell by energy type. So what we have, year total. So we have to go here and we have the board total year, space it, year to date. So dash date, go to the right of the date, space, cells by energy type, space. Perfect. Now resize resize and reposition the chart so its upper left corner is in cell I4 and its bottom right corner is in cell L18. So what are we gonna do now? We have to move your cursor until you see the four black arrows. Drag it to I4. So that's I4. And then we have to move it to L. So you have to shrink down. That's L, column L. And then we want 18. So a little bit. Perfect. So this is, be sure to confirm is 18, yes. So L18 and I4, perfect. Let's go and read. Apply the style 4 to the chart. Go back to your Excel, select the chart. Now we have two contextual tab, chart, design and format. So click on the chart design. So let me remove this. Now the chart style is in front of you here, you see. Or you can also use this one here, the icon in the right of the chart, and then you can do the same thing, right? So you move your cursor until you see the screen tip is a live preview. So we are looking for style 4. That's the style 4. Now click on it. Now this is the style 4. 1, 2, 3, and then if you go a little bit down, that's 4. So either way, you can do it from here, this icon here, chart style, or you can use the ribbon and then just go to the group that says chart style and then move your cursor until you see the screen tip and then click on it and that's it. And if you want to hide this one, click the icon again. Okay, let's do it again. Perfect. Now let's go and read again. We're done. Step number 12, hide the grid lines for the budget summary worksheet to make it easy to read. So your workbook should look like the final figures on the following page. So we have to save everything. So everything should look like this, right? If it's not like this, then it means you have done wrong. All right. So I will go back. So you see I have the grid there. So what you need is click on the cell. So deselect the chart, okay? Then go to view, the view tab, and then go to show, the show group on the ribbon, and then remove the check from the grid line. As you see, it become white. All right. Now hit the floppy to save it. And then as you see now, when you want to upload your assignment, it has to be 2 instead of being 1, right? So you will go to File, Save As, just create a Save As a backup, and then hit Browse, and I will save it under the download. I will just take out the 2. You don't have to change anything else, just the 1 to 2, and then click Save, and then close it, and close the instruction. Now let's go back to your assignment. Go to your Canvas, modules, or you can go direct to Cengage and the MindTap to access your assignment. And then we are here, so you're gonna click it. So let me close everything and then click, and then click to load the assignment, Project A Excel. Now you have to go back to the start, click on start. Now this time we're done with this box here. Now we are going to the second. So click or drag it. Drag your file that you completed, or you can browse it. So I will click it to browse. Then I will go to downloads. And then this is the 2 file. So I will just first show you if your file and you did not change the 1 to 2, what's going to happen. So I will select the file that I downloaded. That's what you're going to see. Error uploading the file, right? So because they said that the file has to have 2. Here also says match the file name by changing the 1 to 2. Then reload. So I will go back. That's why at the end then I did save as, remember? So click on it, open, and then submit. Now it says submission successfully graded. Now I want to see what I scored. Obviously your score is going to go to the Canvas gradebook, but if you want to see and fix something, if there's any error, it's going to open Excel. And I don't have any kind of issues. You see all is green, the check. And then the good news is that I scored the whole point. So you have to follow the steps with me nicely, no rush. And also, if you need this file, right, this file will be under the description of the video. I will put it there, right? So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have learned a lot from this video. Again, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure that to share the video with your loved ones, and also with your friends so that I can create more productive video for you guys. Thank you and have a nice and blessed day. Thank you. Bye.